humble request to all sitting in the auditorium to please turn off the mobile phones on silent mode. The guests are about to arrive. I request everyone to please rise. The guests have arrived. You all may be seated, please. I request everyone to please occupy their seats. God has endowed us with all possible capacities, and we must utilize every might of the energy, power, intellect, strength, and all other possessions to the best of our utility. The chief guest of today's function, Honorable Shri Justice Abhay Oak, former Judge, Supreme Court of India. Our special guest, Honorable Shri Justice Vikas Sirpurkar, former Judge, Supreme Court of India. Our guest of honor, Honorable Shri Justice Anil Kilor, Senior Administrative Judge, Bombay High Court, Nagpur Bench. The chairman of today's function, Dr. Manali Shirsagar, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Rashtrasanta Tukroji Maharaj, Nagpur University. Respected Director of the college, senior faculty members, respected teachers, respected members of the fraternity, members of press and media, Honorable Shri Justice K.J. Rohi sir sitting in the audience, Madam Kumkum Sirpurkar, and everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Rashtrasanta Tukroji Maharaj, Nagpur University's Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar School of Law, I, Dr. Chinmay Nimkhedkar, with Mrunmay Kukde, welcome you all to this auspicious and glorious occasion of the grand opening of the 23rd Justa Causa National Law Festival and Justa Causa Guest Lecture. It symbolizes not just tradition and legacy, but also dynamic future of legal education.
We now move forward by invoking Lord's blessings. So I may please request the dignitaries to light the traditional lamp and inaugurate today's function. As the flame rises, may it ignite us in the pursuit of truth, justice, and wisdom. Deepa Jyoti Parabrahma, दीप ज्योति जनार्दना दीपो में हरतु पापम दीप ज्योतिर नमोस्तुते दीप ज्योतिर नमोस्तुते. I now request respected Director Sir, Dr. Ravi Shankar More Sir, and Dr. Praveena Khobragade Madam to assure the dignitaries on stage. I request Honorable Justice Sirpurkar Sir to please join us on stage. It is a great pleasure to have you amongst us this evening, sir. Now I request everyone to please rise for the Rashtragan, the Vidyapit Geet, and the Rajya Geet.
दुर्गा दश प्रहरण धारिणी कमला कमल दल विहारिणी वाणी विद्यादायिनी नमामि त्वां नमामि कमला अमला अतुला सुजला सुफला मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् श्यामलां सरलां सुस्मितां भूषितां धरणीं मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् वन्दे मातरम् जय महाराष्ट्र माझा गरजा महाराष्ट्र माझा जय महाराष्ट्र माझा गरजा महाराष्ट्र माझा
फिरतीन आम्हा तुझी मुळी कडकडणाऱ्या नभा अस्मानाच्या सुलतानीला जबाब देती जिभा सह्याद्रीचा सिंह गर्जतो शिवशंभू राजा
दरी दरीतून नाद गुंजला महाराष्ट्र माझा.
जय महाराष्ट्र माझा गरजा महाराष्ट्र माझा
काळ्या छातीवरी कोरली अभिमानाची लेणी
ओलादी मनगटे खेळती खेळ जीव घेणी
दारिद्र्याच्या उन्हात शिजला निघळाच्या घामाने भिजला देश गौरवासाठी झिजला दिल्लीचे ही दत्तराणी महाराष्ट्र माझा जय महाराष्ट्र माझा गरजा महाराष्ट्र माझा जय जय महाराष्ट्र माझा
भारतात बंधुभाव नित्य वसुदे देवरची असादे देवरची असादे देवरची असादे.
Thank you, respected days. I request student Charu Rathi from second semester 3 years to present Ganesh Vandana to mark the auspicious beginning of the 23rd Justa Causa 2026. Students, please welcome her with a big round of applause, please.
तेरे बिना मैं स्तुताय कहाँ चला गणराय तेरे बिना स्तुताय आकार लेने लगा खाब मेरा आकार होते रुका खाब मेरा मेरे अधूरे कर दे तू पूरे आज
Thank you, Charu. I now request our constant support system and the driving force behind 23rd Justa Causa 2026, Dr. Ravi Shankar Moore, and the director of our law school to deliver the welcome address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar once reminded us that constitutional morality is not a natural sentiment. It has to be cultivated. Gatherings like this, where young minds engage with law, debate, ideas, and question institutions, are precisely where that constitutional morality is nurtured. Respected dignitaries on the dais, Honorable Chief Guest Justice Abhay S. Oak, former Judge of the Supreme Court of India, Guest of Honor Honorable Justice Anil S. Kilor, Administrative Judge, Bombay High Court, Nagpur, Honorable Special Guest Honorable Justice Sri Vikas Sirpurkar, former Judge, Supreme Court of India, our esteemed Vice Chancellor of the University, Dr. Manali Shirsagar Madam, distinguished guests, faculty members, and dear students. It is my privilege to warmly welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of Justa Causa 2026. Over the past 22 years, Justa Causa has evolved from an academic initiative into a nationally recognized platform of legal excellence. Today, it stands not only as the flagship program of this institution, but also as a meeting ground for the aspiring lawyers from across India, united by a shared commitment to the justice and the rule of law. This year, celebration carries special historical significance as well, as we mark the completion of 100 glorious years of our institution. A centenary is not merely a milestone of time, it is a testament to values sustained across generations. As Justice H.R. Khanna once observed, the Constitution is not a mere lawyer's document, it is a vehicle of life. Justa Causa seeks to bring that living Constitution closer to students through participation and practice. This year, festival proudly hosts 5 national level competitions: the Justa Causa National Moot Court Competition, National Trial Advocacy Competition, National Youth Parliament, National Debate Competition, and the conclave titled as the Nagpur Dialogue. Each event represents a pillar of legal education, advocacy, adjudication, policy discourse, and democratic engagement. One of the most distinctive traditions of Justa Causa is that its final rounds are presided over by sitting judges, giving participants a rare opportunity to experience courtroom realism at the highest level. The final rounds of the moot court competition will be adjudicated by Honorable Justice Srimati Mukulika Javalkar and Sri Praful Khubalkar. Honorable Justice Sri Praful Khubalkar. While the National Trial Advocacy Competition will be judged by Honorable Srimati Justice Nivedita Mehta Madam and Honorable Sri Justice Raj Wakode Sir. We are deeply honored that their lordships will constitute division bench for these rounds. For students, this is not merely a competition, it is an encounter with the living tradition of judicial reasoning. It has been a proud convention that Justa Causa is inaugurated by the administrative judge of the Nagpur bench of the Bombay High Court. Upholding this tradition, we are privileged that Honorable Justice Sri Anil Killor Sir has graciously consented to inaugurate this edition. Sir, your presence reinforces the enduring bond between the bench and the legal academia. We are profoundly honored by the presence of Honorable Justice Abhay Oak Sir, who is going to deliver lecture on the art of advocacy. Sir's judicial career exemplifies constitutional commitment, judicial independence, and sensitivity towards the rights and liberties. Sir, we remain grateful to you for traveling from all the way from New Delhi to deliver the Justa Causa lecture. Sir, your guidance will undoubtedly inspire our students to view law not merely as a profession but as an instrument of social transformation. I also extend sincere gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Manali Shirsagar Madam, whose vision and unwavering support continue to empower this institution. As a conducted institution of the university, our achievements are strengthened by her constant encouragement and academic leadership. Friends, legal education reaches its highest purpose when knowledge meets responsibility. As Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. wisely stated, the great thing in the world is not so much where we stand as what direction we are moving. Through Justa Causa, we hope our students move steadily towards integrity, empathy, and excellence in the service of justice. Before I conclude, let me say this: courts interpret the law, but it is young lawyers who shape its future. The conversation that began here today may very well influence the legal landscape of the tomorrow. Without taking much of your valuable time, and mindful that I stand between you and the wisdom of our distinguished speakers, I once again extend my heartfelt welcome to all you present in this inaugural ceremony. May this festival deepen our commitment to constitutional values and the rule of law. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Let us now welcome the luminaries on dais and felicitate them for their outstanding contributions to their respective fields. Ladies and gentlemen, BASL Nagpur is absolutely overwhelmed and honored with the presence of chief guest of today's function, Honorable Shri Justice A.S. Oak, former Judge, Supreme Court of India. I now request Honorable Vice Chancellor, Rashtrasanta Tukdoji Maharaj Nagpur University, Dr. Manali Shirsagar Madam, to welcome and felicitate Honorable Justice Abhay Oak with a token of our love and gratitude. It is indeed a great pleasure to have you amongst us, Lordship. I now request Honorable Vice Chancellor, Rashtrasanta Tukdoji Maharaj Nagpur University, Dr. Manali Shirsagar Madam, to welcome and felicitate one very special guest amongst us, Honorable Justice V.S. Sirpurkar sir, who is also an alumni of this very institute. Thank you so much, Madam. We are also honored to have another luminary from the elite fraternity of High Court judges, Honorable Justice Anil Kilor sir, Senior Administrative Judge, Bombay High Court, Nagpur Bench, Nagpur. I request Director, Sir Dr. Ravi Shankar Moore, to felicitate and welcome sir with a gift of token love and affection on behalf of the Institute. I now request Dr. Praveena Khobragade Madam to please welcome and felicitate the Revered Vice Chancellor of our university, Dr. Manali Shirsagar Madam, who's chairing today's function, with a token of love and affection for her unwavering support that she provides to the Institute always. We are indeed obliged, Madam. Thank you for your constant support, Madam. Thank you, Praveena Madam. Thank you, Days.
It is said that roots of true achievement lie in its foundation. Excellence is not a destination, but a continuous journey that never ends. Ladies and gentlemen, to get a glimpse of the glorious journey of these distinguished personalities, we would like to introduce them to this august gathering. Let us have a review of magnanimous achievements to know about these superlative performers. The chairperson for today's function is Dr. Manali Shirsagar Ma'am, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Rashtrasanta Tukadoji Maharaj Nagpur University. And it is my proud privilege to introduce a trailblazer, a visionary leader, and a symbol of breaking barriers. The first woman Vice Chancellor of Rashtrasanta Tukadoji Maharaj Nagpur University in the history of 102 years. Ma'am, your journey is not just one of academic excellence, but of courage, leadership, and paving the way for generations of women to dream bigger and aim higher. As the first woman to hold this esteemed position, you're not just leading an institution, you're actually inspiring a movement. Thank you, ma'am. I now request Honorable Manali Shirsagar ma'am to kindly unfold her thoughts with us.
Thank you. At the outset, I bow down to Rashtrasanta Tukadoji Maharaj and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. Dignitaries on the dais, the chief guest of today's inaugural function and also the keynote speaker, Honorable Justice Abhay Oka, former Judge Supreme Court of India, today's guest of honor, Honorable Justice Anil Kilor, who's the Administrative Judge, Bombay High Court, Nagpur Bench, Honorable Vikas Sirpurkar Sir, Madam Kumkum Sirpurkar, Honorable Lohi Sir, Dr. Vijay Khandal, Dr. Itankar, distinguished faculty, and my dear student friends. A very good evening to you all. Good evening. Little more energy will do. Good evening. That's great. So, I see this whole Justa Causa. I am aware of Justa Causa because I am surrounded by 4 lawyers at home. So, I know Justa Causa. And I am totally impressed by the way it is conducted and how much beneficial it is for the students when they are pursuing their law education. And what I can see is now it has even become bigger, because I could see it becoming a conglomeration of various events which are actually helping in nurturing the future competent lawyers. I am saying competent lawyers because you can take a degree and go away. But then if you want to make an impact, then you have to improve and work on the competencies that a lawyer is expected to have. So I think Justa Causa is the apt platform wherein each one of you will be immensely benefited. Since I am an engineer by profession, and that too a computer science engineer, I think it will be more appropriate for me, and the time is ripe that I speak about AI in law. Because every day in university, also in different departments, we are normally conducting workshops and guest lectures on AI. And depending upon whether it is a mathematics and statistics department, or it is humanities, or it is law, everywhere we are speaking about AI, and I think that is a good sign, because we are finally accepting that AI is there and it is going to stay here. So it's the time that we accept, and we try to understand how we can ethically use AI and still remain competent, updated and critical in thinking, and do not lose our thinking ability. Because when some technology is there, it's good that you embrace it with open arms and mind. At the same time, you have to understand the responsible use of technology. Because cursing the technology is definitely not the solution. Because in one of my interviews, we have to give interviews in stages to become a vice chancellor. So I was asked by one of the panelists, who happened to be a mathematician, was apparently not really very happy by the advent of AI, and then said, how is it possible that earlier it used to take around 3-4 days or at times a week to come out with a solution of a mathematical problem, and now it is happening in hours. So how is it possible? I said, sir, it's technology, because there are algorithms. So algorithms, once you do programming, then similar kind of problems can be solved with ease and in no time. So actually it is reducing the time. Reducing the time doesn't mean that you enter into comfort zone, because when you use technologies like artificial intelligence, you can save upon a lot of time. But then that time you can take advantage of for something which an AI cannot do for you. Your thinking process, the way you strategize, all that will need your own creativity, your own thinking, your own knowledge and wisdom. So I think while shifting the mundane tasks to artificial intelligence agents or the models, you can free yourselves to think at a higher order, which at times artificial intelligence may not be able to reproduce, because that is something original. Artificial intelligence, the name itself says that it's not original, it is artificial, it is not natural, it is not organic. So anything which is inorganic will definitely not be able to copy you exactly. That is why when at different platforms I am asked the question whether this AI is going to replace humans. No, AI is not going to replace humans, but AI can definitely replace. Who will be replacing humans is someone who knows AI. It's not AI by itself is going to replace anyone, but any human without having a knowledge of AI can easily be replaced by the one who knows AI. So I think it's the time that you can use it. And of course, you must have already started using it also. I mean, few of the applications of AI that I see in the 4 lawyers I'm surrounded by, so they normally use it for drafting, because I think that is a very time consuming process, and AI has really made it very easy. But then of course it comes with a caution. AI also cautions us. At the end of the information or the knowledge or the answer that is given to us, it is written, the tip is written that it is AI generated content and it can have errors in it. So it is better that you verify. Now who can verify? So that means even if you are taking help of AI, unless and until you are knowledgeable enough, you even cannot make use of AI properly. So I think whatever is your core conceptual knowledge, that prevails. Because even if you are given a task of verifying or validating anything, unless and until you know what it is, you will never be able to tell whether whatever draft has come in front of you, it is right or wrong. It has flaws or not. So everything depends basically upon your core knowledge and competencies. So there is no way that AI is going to replace that. And I think Justa Causa is one of the mediums presented to you all to hone to sharpen your all these skills so that you can use AI in a more responsible and ethical manner, because ethical is important. That is the buzzword. Whatever you do, whichever technology you use, but you cannot leave the side of ethics. So I would urge you all that you should definitely embrace AI, and AI is going to evolve, and you are the ones who are going to contribute how it evolves, because it is like a small child. You feed all negativity or destructive things, it is going to become destructive. If you are constructively building it or teaching it, then it will become a constructive answer for you all, because it takes up the previous thread and evolves. It is unsupervised learning, but then the supervision in a subconscious way goes into AI models. Whatever kind of prompts you give to the AI, whatever are your opinions and thought process and the way you ask questions to AI, it evolves itself with that new knowledge. Now, if that new knowledge is a constructive knowledge, and if it is ethical way of prompting the AI, it will turn out to be a very ethical model. But on the contrary, if you decide to teach AI with all the bad examples, it will turn out to be a very destructive weapon to humanity. So I think that is why it is really very important that AI is definitely a very useful tool and technology for you all, but at the same time, responsible and ethical use of AI is more important. With these words, and with thanks to all our dignitaries on the dais and the audience, I rest my words. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great privilege to welcome an alumni whose professional journey only sets an example to exemplify the excellence we strive for at BASL. We have with us presence of another distinguished personality, Honorable Justice Shri Anil Kilor sir. Born on 3rd September 1966, he hails from Amravati district, completed his schooling from Hadas High School, thereafter BCom, and did his LLB from this very institute. In the year 2000, Lordship was appointed as Assistant Government Pleader and Additional Public Prosecutor for the Government of Maharashtra at the Nagpur bench of Bombay High Court. His Lordship has appeared in more than 30 important public interest litigations on pro bono basis. He conducted many election disputes relating to the elections of Village Panchayat, Zilla Parishad, Municipal Council, the list just goes on endlessly. Lordship got elected as the President of the prestigious High Court Bar Association of Nagpur in the year 2017 and has also served as an executive member of the association from the year 1996 to the year 2000. Being President of Bar Association, he has carried out major important development projects. His Lordship was elevated as an additional judge of the Bombay High Court on 23rd of August 2019. It gives me immense pleasure to invite His Lordship to share his views with the august gathering.
Today's esteemed Chief Guest, Honorable Justice Abhay Oak, former Judge of the Supreme Court of India, Shri Justice Sirpurkar, former Judge of the Supreme Court of India, respected Vice Chancellor of Rashtra Sant Tukadoji Maharaj, Nagpur University, Dr. Manali Shirsagar, Justice Rohi, former Judge, Senior Advocate Sirpurkar Madam, Chief Organizer of Justa Causa, Dr. Ravishankar Moore, Dr. Pravina Khobragade, our Registrar Shri Sirsagar, Deputy Registrar Shri Vashankar, Dr. Itankar, respected members of the law school, guests and faculty members, friends from media, dear participants and my young friends. It is indeed a great honor for me to be present at the 23rd Justa Causa National Law Festival organized by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar School of Law, Nagpur. This occasion carries special significance as the institution celebrates a remarkable century of academic excellence and legal contribution. For nearly 100 years, this law school has nurtured generations of legal minds who have contributed to the judiciary, public life, and the development of Indian jurisprudence. It has produced distinguished judges, outstanding legal professionals, and respected political leaders who have contributed greatly to shaping the legal and constitutional system of our country. The legacy of this institution truly speaks for itself. Over the years, continuing this tradition of excellence, the Justa Causa National Law Festival promotes learning, leadership, teamwork, and innovation among young law students. Friends, earlier legal education in India was largely confined to classroom, textbooks, and theoretical discussions. Opportunities for students to participate, practically engage with the art of advocacy were limited. Over time, however, moot court competitions have evolved into a vibrant and integral part of legal education. Today, almost every law school actively encourages students to participating in mooting. Moot courts is now fundamentally a part of the college curriculum. Its primary objective is to introduce students to the structure of legal arguments and to develop research and drafting skills. However, problem arises when student begins to treat moot courts as a substitute for real courtroom exposure. The functioning of actual court is very different from the controlled and simulated environment that exists in moot court competitions. Therefore, I wish to draw attention to an important issue. The overemphasis placed on moot courts in law schools. Today, a new trend is visible. Some students, after winning a few moot court competitions, feel they have already know the advocacy. As a result, only fewer juniors are willing to patiently learn in a senior's chamber. But advocacy cannot be mastered in competition hall. It is learned through observation, discipline, and years of practice. It is important, therefore, to recognize the limitation of moot courts in law schools. In moot courts, the setting is largely artificial. The entire exercise is conducted in a structured and predictable manner. In contrast, real courts function in a very dynamic environment. Judges manage numerous matters in a single day. Proceedings move quickly, and advocates must be prepared to respond immediately to questions and interruptions. Because of this difference, the experience gained in moot courts often does not fully reflect realities of litigation. Moot courts primarily focus on research and memorial drafting. While these skills are undoubtedly valuable, advocacy in real courts require much more than written submissions and prepared arguments. Most lessons in the legal professions are never taught formally. No one announces them. They are learned by watching how seniors address the court, how they concede a point with dignity, and how they speak firmly yet respectfully. These practical skills are usually learned only through observing, real court proceedings while working under experienced advocates. Courtroom practice requires professionalism, discipline, and restraint. The objective is not to impress but to assist the court in arriving at a just decision. It is important to learn that justice is not delivered by the judge alone. It is shaped by quality of advocacy placed before the court. Friends, we all know that moot problems are hypothetical in nature and therefore do not involve real clients. In practice, an advocate must deal with clients, understand their problems, manage their expectation, and provide practical legal solutions. These aspects of the profession cannot be learned through simulative exercise alone. Chamber practice plays a crucial role in shaping a young lawyer. It is through chamber work that one learns drafting of pleading, case preparation, professional conduct, the day-to-day functioning of the court system, and also time management, office management, and discipline. You also need to understand how the filing department operates, how pleadings are scrutinized, how defects are removed, and how cases are listed before the court. This process forms an essential part of legal practice. Let me share a famous anecdote about Mr. Nani Palkhiwala, one of the India's greatest constitutional lawyers. In the historic Keshwanand Bharti case, when he was arguing for the protection of the Constitution, the hearing went on for several days. One day, after hours of intense argument, the judges asked him an extremely complex constitutional question. Instead of rushing to answer, Mr. Palkhiwala paused. He thought carefully. Then he said calmly, I quote, "My lords, the Constitution is not a mere legal document. It is a vehicle of the nation's life," I unquote. That single line captured the entire spirit of the argument. The lesson is simple. Advocacy is not about speaking the loudest, but about speaking with clarity and honesty. Not about winning at any cost, but about serving justice with integrity. The true mark of good advocacy lies in sharp thinking, a strong grasp of facts, and rare ability to explain complex issues in a way that feels simple and accessible. Therefore, while moot courts should certainly remain a valuable part of legal education, they should not overshadow the importance of real courtroom experience and chamber training. Law students must balance academic exercises like mooting with practical training in courts and chambers so that they can develop into competent and responsible advocates. It is important to understand that advocacy is not only about law. As Mr. M.V. Kamath wrote in a biography of Mr. Nani Palkhiwala, I quote, "Character is integrity plus altruism. Fame is vapor, popularity an accident, riches take wing, and those who cheer you today will curse you tomorrow. Only one thing endures, character," I unquote. This is perhaps the most important lesson for everyone entering the legal profession. To conclude, the legal profession is a noble profession, and each one of you who enters it becomes a guardian of justice. I wish all the participants the very best. May this competition produce not only good speakers, but honest, humble, and courageous advocates. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your guidance. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce someone who holds these halls in his heart as much as we hold him in our heart. He is one of the living examples, ladies and gentlemen, of how learning and hard work turns into a success. I now request Honorable Justice V.S. Sirpurkar, former Judge, Supreme Court of India, to address this august gathering.
Honorable dignitaries on dais, my wife, Senior Advocate Kumkum Sirpurkar, my colleague, Justice Rohi, and my dear students. It is, they describe as bolt from blue. So I was never told that I would have to talk to you, speak to you about this function or anything else than that. But all of a sudden, my niece, Mrs. Kukde, she drew me into the circle, and here I am to perform the task in a poor matter. To tell you the truth, moot court was a word which I heard for the first time when my son entered the law college. To tell you the truth, I passed law in 1968. At that time, there was nothing like moot court, there was nothing like mooting, as they call in law schools, mooting. I didn't know this at all, this verb at all. When I passed out in the last batch of the 2 years course. At that time, the law was only 2 years, previous and final. विधी आणि फायनलला ते अंत्यविधी म्हणायचे. तसंच प्रिव्हियसला when we were in the morning batch, ते प्रातर्विधी म्हणायचे. प्रातर्विधी आणि अंत्यविधी हे दोन शब्द त्यांनी आम्हाला इंट्रोड्यूस झाले होते. असो, बट इन माय टाइम, when you did not get admission in MA Economics, MSc Chemistry, or for that matter any other so-called paying course, you joined the law college. तू काय करतो? लॉ करतोय, म्हणजे काहीच करत नाही. This was the status, so-called status. Be that as it may, the first day, my father, my mother, both were lawyers. When I passed out with great difficulty, because when I entered the final LLB final, at that time the lecturer immediately stopped the lecture and said, Mr. Sirpurkar, what are you doing here? I said, sir, I am attending the class. He said, for attending the class, you must clear and pass previous, law previous. How did you pass the law previous? I said, sir, that is, Arsat, this was the mood with which you attended the classes. First day when I joined the court, when I had the sanad, at my time there was no bar council examination, nothing. I used black coat, had bands and whatnot, and went to the court. And believe you me, the first appearance was before the judicial magistrate first class, the lowest standard, the lowest strata of the judiciary. And when he asked me the first question, I could not answer. I was so dumbfounded. Because when you go to the court, you really realize that you are doing some ordeal. Be that as it may, I advise all of you, while you are doing law, go and attend the courts also. Because if you go and attend the courts, you become acclimatized with that. You must be able to drink that horrible tea which you get in the court canteens. You must be able to eat misal which you get in the canteen of the bar. Samosas again available in the canteen of the bar, which are most uninteresting. And then you must like the atmosphere in the court. You must know what is the court expecting from you and whether you are able to deliver it to the court or not. I have not come here to advise you. I have come here to only share my experience of the court. When I attended the High Court for the first time, I was not sure whether as a lawyer I can enter the courtroom or not. This was the standard, this was the level of my knowledge about the High Court. I asked whether can I enter the court. Then somebody said, well, why not? You are a lawyer, you must go. That is how I never knew that one day I would be becoming a High Court judge and I would also be becoming a Chief Justice and so on and so forth. Be that as it may, in your life as a student, attend some lawyer, obtain the permission of some lawyer to attend his chambers. Also make it a point to attend the court so that you acclimatize yourself with that atmosphere. I am extremely thankful that I was given an opportunity to talk to you, to interact with you. I look forward. As a matter of fact, I was not to come for this function, but then decided against it. Be that as it may, I wish all of you a very good success in your careers, and one day, I don't know whether I would be there or not, because I am already running a tea. One day, when somebody is elevated and says, I was a student of Law College Nagpur. Now everything has changed. This was University College of Law, not Ambedkar College of Law. B. Shankaranande was the minister who came and visited us and gave us this name, Ambedkar College of Law. Again, though the building remains untouched, the building hardly was worth coming and attending the classes. So, all that I advise you is to acclimatize yourself with the profession, with the lawyers, see how the lawyers advise the clients, the litigants, and use all your common sense to understand the ways the lawyers think, the judges think, or the judges don't think anyway, whatever it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lordship. Your presence today proves that foundations at BASL here can take students to the pinnacle of their career. And Lordship, we at BASL never miss to grab an opportunity to listen to you.
It is indeed an honor for me to introduce the chief guest for the day, a towering figure in the Indian judiciary, Justice A.S. Oak, former judge, the Supreme Court of India, who embodied the very essence of advocacy at its highest pedestal as a distinguished judge of the Supreme Court of India. His lordship has not only interpreted law, but has shaped the way it is argued, understood, and delivered. Justice Abhay Oak, born on 25th of May 1960, did his BSc LLM from University of Bombay and was enrolled as an advocate on 28 June 1983. His lordship started practicing in Thane District Court in the chamber of his father, Srinivas Oak. In 1985-86, his lordship joined the chamber of Shri V.P. Tipnis, a former judge of the Bombay High Court and former Lokayukta. His lordship appeared in several important matters and in public interest litigations. He was elevated as additional judge of the Bombay High Court on 29th August 2003 and later appointed as a permanent judge from 12th November 2005. His lordship took the oath as a Chief Justice of High Court of Karnataka on 10th May 2019 and took oath as the judge of Supreme Court of India on 31st August 2021. With greatest respect and admiration, I now invite Honorable Shri Justice Abhay Oak sir to enlighten us with his invaluable insights on the art of advocacy as a Justa Causa guest lecture.
Brother Justice Anil Kilor, Senior Judge of the bench of the Bombay High Court at Nagpur, Justice Sirpurkar, Mrs. Sirpurkar, my esteemed colleague Justice Rohi. Incidentally, I took oath as Judge of the Bombay High Court on 29th of August 2003 with Justice Rohi. Dr. Manali Shirsagar, Vice Chancellor of the Rashtrasanta Tukaroji Maharaj University, Dr. Ravi Shankar Moore, members of the faculty, officers of the registry, and young students. I think this is the third law institution in our state which has completed 100 years. First was, of course, Government Law College, and I am alumni of that college. And incidentally, I am really lucky to be associated with these three institutions. When second institution was ILS Law College in Pune, I was present at the time of centenary function, and I am really privileged to be here again, which is celebrating 100 years of existence in this great law institution. Justice Vivian Bose was the first principal of this college from 1924 to 1930. And as a student of law, I consider him to be one of the greatest judges which we have produced. It has given great judges, Justice Sirpurkar, Justice Ruma Paul, so many judges of the High Court, then politicians like Narsiha Rao, and so on. The beginning of this law school is really important because it was headed by none no less than Justice Vivian Bose. I liked the theme of Justa Causa. There are two very important things, important competitions. One is youth parliament and second is trial advocacy competition. I share sentiments expressed by Brother Justice Anil Kilor that the manner in which we are conducting these moot courts, the subjects which are given in moot courts are completely diverse from reality. Public international law, IPR, but this is the most important subject, trial advocacy. And therefore I said that I speak on trial advocacy and art of advocacy. But very important is youth parliament. Talking about parliament, I am going to only state few facts and leave you to draw appropriate conclusion. As a young lawyer, I attended a conference in Mumbai which was addressed by a very eminent professor from Oxford University. He was a professor of political science. And he told us, and we felt very proud, that the first parliament, first Lok Sabha, which was elected in 1952, was perhaps the best parliament in the history of democratic world in terms of talent and competence. And why this happened, very few of us must be aware. 36% of the parliamentarians were lawyers. And today, that percentage has come to 4%. I don't want to offer any further comments, but I compliment the college for holding this competition because I feel that some of the lawyers given by this college may occupy very important positions in parliament of the future. Now, talking about trial advocacy and art of advocacy, I want to tell you something very important for the benefit of young students. I've been interacting with so many law students, new law graduates. I've been going to law schools for last several years. Most of the law students are under impression that the practice before trial court is inferior. And there is one reason for that, because we, the judges of the High Court and Supreme Court, we kept on calling our trial courts and district courts as lower courts or subordinate courts. We kept on saying that only the Supreme Court and High Court are constitutional courts. It is our mistake. Because if you read Constitution, from Article 233, there are provisions regarding trial court, district court, appointment of district judges, etc. So please remember one thing, our trial and district courts, I am deliberately using trial and district courts because I don't believe in calling these courts as subordinate courts or lower courts. So these courts are also constitutional courts because after 26th of January 1950, even the appointment of the judges in our district court and trial courts is governed by the Constitution. So they are constitutional courts. I want to tell you something with great deal of emphasis, that our trial and district courts are the most important courts in our structure of judiciary. We have a structure like pyramid. At the base level, there are civil judges and judicial magistrates, then district judges, then High Court judges, and then Supreme Court judges. But the most important courts in this pyramid are our trial and district courts. The reason is that statistics will tell you that after completing 2 rounds, 1 round before the magistrate or civil judges and then district and session judges, only about 60 to 70% of the litigants who are lost, they go to High Court. And if you take statistics of the High Court, sometimes 40% of the litigants who do not succeed before the High Court do not go to the Supreme Court. So these are the courts of common man. These are the courts where cases of common man go. And talking about the trial court advocacy, it is as important as advocacy in Supreme Court and High Court. Only difference is that lawyers who practice in High Court and Supreme Court, they get publicity in media, whereas the trial court lawyers do not get that publicity. But please remember that, according to me, the role of trial court advocates is more important for legal system than the lawyers who appear in appellate courts. Because lawyers who practice in the trial court, they draft the pleadings. They conduct examination and cross-examination. Because if there is a defect in the pleadings, if there is no proper examination chief or cross-examination, that defect cannot be cured by any lawyer who appears in the higher court, notwithstanding his great intelligence and standing. And I think this is a recent trend that young students feel that, practicing before the Supreme Court or High Court is something special. I'll give you the name of one lawyer whom I consider to be one of the greatest lawyers which independent India has produced, Ram Jethmalani. Mr. Ram Jethmalani used to regularly attend cases in Metropolitan Magistrates Court in Mumbai. I have personally seen him as a law student, as a young lawyer. So there is nothing like a small or big court. And please remember that trial courts are most important courts. In fact, I want to share with you, when I went to Karnataka as Chief Justice, the first administrative order which I passed was that in none of the correspondence and nowhere we should call any court as lower court or subordinate court, because that is inconsistent with the ideals under the Constitution. Unfortunately, if you read Article 233, just above that, it refers to subordinate courts, and that amendment should be carried out to the Constitution. That is my firm belief. Now let us turn to the advocacy. We always call it an art of advocacy. You know, there are various arts. Somebody is an artist, somebody is a dancer, somebody is a singer. So most of these arts have to be inborn, that talent has to be there. But advocacy is the only art which we can learn by practice. Continuing with what Brother Justice Kilor said, I want to tell young students who are going to participate in moot courts that art of advocacy is not only about oratory, it is not only about command over the language. It's not about speaking in loud noise. It's not about speaking aggressively in the court. It's not about attacking your opponent. It's completely different. But please remember the role of an advocate. Role of an advocate is very simple. He is first officer of the court because he has to assist the court effectively to ensure that the court arrives at the correct conclusion in accordance with law. So first he is officer of the court and then mouthpiece of his client. So this is the function of the advocate. So your job is to assist the justice delivery system in ensuring that justice is done to the litigant. As Justice Sirpurkar said correctly, this art cannot be taught to anybody. This art has to be learned by sitting in the courtrooms and see lawyers in action. If you sit in the courtroom, you will immediately start learning how an advocate should not behave and how an advocate should behave, how he should conduct himself and how he should not conduct himself. But unfortunately what happens is the corridors of the court are very interesting because great gossip takes place there. And therefore young students, sometimes young lawyers, they are tempted to be in corridors for more time than in the courtroom. But courtroom, something you will learn the art of advocacy only in the courtroom. And you learn it by experience. Lawyer has to be a good psychologist because a lawyer has to understand human mind. He has to understand the mind of the judge. He has to understand mind of his client because he must know client. He must know how client is going to react because 50% of the cases which you argue in the court, you are going to lose in 50% of the cases. So you must understand the psychology of your client so that you should be in position to explain to him that you have lost your case. In trial advocacy, it is also important to understand the mind of your opponent lawyer, and especially in criminal trials, it is very important to understand the psychology of witnesses. And please remember one thing, the difference between the moot court and the real advocacy in real court. In real court, you have to think on your feet. I'll give an example. Now tomorrow you are going to address judges in the moot court, where you have preconceived argument in your mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points which you are going to argue. But in court, it doesn't happen, especially in high court when you start arguing before high court judge. If you find that he is not impressed with your first argument, you have to quickly go to the next argument. You can't have preconceived notion. And from my own experience, I'll tell you that the things which you learn in trial court, you will never learn. I will tell you about my first trial case. I was a raw junior, 8 months old lawyer. A litigant came to me. There was a money suit filed against him for recovery of money. After a few years, I realized why he came to me, because he had no case at all. So he took a chance with a junior lawyer. So I started cross-examining the plaintiff. Plaintiff was in the box. I asked one question, just said no, question is not allowed. Now the practice in our trial courts is that if question is not allowed, you have to make an application in writing place that on the record, and then the judge passes an order why question is disallowed. So he disallowed about 7 or 8 questions, and I kept on writing applications and inviting adverse order from the court. Fortunately, lunch recess came. There was a senior lawyer sitting there. He tapped my shoulder. He said, please come with me, we'll have a cup of tea. And he said, look what you have done. Do you know how costly it is for your client? Because now if questions are disallowed in cross-examination, your client will have to go to High Court, file maybe a petition under Article 227, spend money by engaging an advocate. Because these questions were relevant. So he gave me first tip. He said, please understand one thing. As far as possible, never fight with the judge. It was as simple as this. He said, if the judge said this question I am disallowing, politely tell the court, your honor is right. Ask next question, ask some few questions here and there, and after half an hour, ask the same question in different language. Judge is bound to allow you that question. So this is the first lesson of advocacy which I learned in the trial court. Because this advocacy requires thinking on feet. There cannot be any preconceived argument, preconceived cross-examination. I conducted one civil trial. I had not studied the witness. I was supposed to examine only one attesting witness to a document. And the witness was in the box. I started examining him. I thought that he will say that he will admit the signature on that document. But he turned hostile in civil case. He said, I have not signed this document. Now as a junior lawyer, I was at complete loss to understand what is to be done further. So this is something you learn. I'll tell you a story of one of my dear friends who is a very good practitioner in trial court. As a 1-year-old lawyer, a litigant came to him. He was accused in 307 IPC case, attempt to commit murder. Now, attempt to commit murder is the most challenging case. I want to tell you why. Because the injured person is before the court, he can depose against the accused. So, this young man was engaged, and then he spent sleepless nights, burned midnight oil. He prepared long list of questions to be asked in the cross-examination. First witness came. First witness was the injured person. He said, I don't remember who attacked me. He turned hostile. Now the junior lawyer did not know what is to be done, whether he should cross-examine the witness or not. So his colleague was there. He rushed to the bar room and asked a very great senior lawyer who was practicing on the criminal side. And his answer was, but bit curt lawyer, he said, ask him to shut up. Don't utter a word, don't cross-examine, just sit down. So these are the lessons you learn as a trial court lawyer. I'll tell you, studying the witness is very important, and before that, I am glad that Vice Chancellor spoke about AI. AI tools, no doubt, will help you. But please remember one thing, AI tool will help you to prepare a synopsis of the case, or basic averments in the suit, or basic averment in a criminal complaint. But AI tool will not tell you anything about human behavior. I'll explain you to this in detail. Now let us take a case of a witness. You have to cross-examine a witness. Now cross-examination is not like Hindi films we see. It is not shouting at the witness. You have to understand the psychology of witness. You have to ask your client that who is this witness in life? What is his behavioral pattern? So sometimes, depending upon the psychology of the witness, you have to pamper the witness to begin with in the cross-examination. You have to pamper the witness because ultimately, what is the aim in criminal matters of cross-examination? One, you must discredit the witness so that court will not believe his testimony. And secondly, you have to bring truth on record. So therefore, you have to study the personality of the witness. Sometimes some witnesses are such that you have to really attack them. You have to ask them very aggressively. Some witnesses you have to treat them with dignity. Only if you treat them very softly and with dignity, then they will speak the truth. I'll give you a very simple example, drafting of a plaint. Somebody asked you to draft a plaint in a simple money suit where the plaintiff has advanced certain amount to the defendant and defendant has signed a document indicating receipt of the money borrowed by him, friendly loan, I'll call it that way, and there are two witnesses. Now, there is a correspondence exchange always because the plaintiff will call upon the defendant to pay the money, defendant's lawyer will give reply to the demand notice and then suit is filed. Now, if you feed this data into AI tool will draft a nice plaint for you. But what AI tool will miss can be understood only by human beings. I'll give an example. Suppose in such a case, the defense in the reply to the suit notice is that the defendant has not signed the document at all. It's a fabricated signature. Then as a lawyer, before you file the plaint, you have to think about it, that how you are going to prove, how your client is going to prove that document. So first question which we have to ask the client is that who are the attesting witnesses? Whether attesting witnesses will depose in your favor. So when you draft a plaint or whether you draft a private complaint on the criminal side, you have to consider what evidence you are going to adduce, because drafting a plaint or drafting a complaint is not empty formality. Ultimately, you draft a plaint because your client must get a relief, or you draft a private complaint because the person accused should be prosecuted. So you have to imagine that what will happen in the case, how your witnesses are going to behave. In fact, you have to judge your own client, because there are many litigants I came across. They are so meek that they won't be able to stand before the court and depose. So you have to apply your mind whether anybody else, maybe some family member, will depose in the case. So right from drafting, you require application of human mind. Now let us come to drafting by use of AI. This is essential part of advocacy, I want to tell you. You are told to draft an appeal to be filed in sessions court against the order of conviction of magistrate. Let us take that hypothetical case. If you feed the data to AI tool, it will generate standard grounds. But those grounds are not good enough, because every case is different on facts. When you argue an appeal against conviction before the higher court, you have to read and reread the depositions. And every time you read, you realize that yes, this is the contradiction in the evidence which is not noted. I always tell the young students that if there was AI in 1963, when that famous judge of the Supreme Court in Pakistan, Cornelius, first time evolved the theory of basic structure, or Justice J.R. Mudholkar in his minority judgment for the first time canvassed the theory of basic structure. Even if AI was there, I don't think AI would have come out with this kind of a plea, basic structure of the Constitution. So please remember one thing, that AI will definitely assist you in your practice, but AI cannot replace human mind. So please remember this. Now coming to the art of advocacy, as I said, attending the court is the most important thing. Courtrooms are the best classrooms to learn art of advocacy. Nobody else will teach you that art of advocacy. And art of advocacy are different facets. Especially when you appear in High Court, the judges read the matters at home. So there is always initial resistance to overcome. And I can share something with you. We as judges, we also believe in asking awkward questions to the lawyers, but we also derive some satisfaction that I am asking a question which lawyer is not able to answer. So there was a great lawyer in Bombay High Court who used to deal with such situation. Whenever judge used to ask very awkward question, as young lawyers, we are in a hurry to answer the question, and obviously answer was wrong, judge used to be very happy that he has caught the lawyer. But a senior lawyer had a beautiful method of dealing with it. Whenever a judge used to ask awkward question to him, he used to take strategic pause. So 2 seconds he used to stare at the judge and then quietly answer. That as a judge I can tell you, this is something, then I feel that look, I have asked such a good question, but this lawyer is simply standing and not answering. So And one more important thing in High Court, especially in High Court or any court, sometimes silence is the best advocacy. You must know when to speak and when to remain silent. Silence is very important. We had a great judge of Bombay High Court. I hope that some young lawyers know about some procedure. You know, there is a writ petition. Now, when writ petition is heard for admission, normally the petitioner is heard. And only when there is a caveat, respondent is heard on interim relief. So, this judge had a peculiar method. Now, you know, as young lawyers or even senior lawyers, when you appear for respondent, you are too eager to speak. So, this judge used to punish the advocate for respondent. Whenever, before the petitioner started arguing or after petitioner started arguing, if there was any interjection by advocate for respondent, the judge used to say, respondent wants to argue, therefore I'll admit the matter. Because I can hear respondent only if I admit the matter. Now, therefore you have to sit in the court and study the judges. That how the judge behaves, what the judge wants from you. This is essential part of advocacy. That you can't have a fixed formula of conducting the cases. You must know the judge. Which arguments are liked by the judges. You know, I'll give you an example. In High Court especially, when you are arguing, say, first appeal, there are many judges who don't like technical defense of limitation. So you must know the mind of the judge. Then in that, before that judge, you will not argue point of limitation as the first point. You will go on merits. So, sitting in the court and studying the judges is the most important thing. Now that I am out of all this, I will share with you when in my chamber I had a rule. I used to tell my young juniors that whenever new judge is appointed in the High Court, we will not argue any serious case before him for at least 2 weeks. Because we will sit in the court and we will study the judge. Because ultimately, why clients engage you? Clients engage you because you are supposed to perform in best possible manner for them. And other important thing is you have to study your opponents also. Unless you study your opponents, you will never succeed. Because there are opponents, you know the lawyers who appear, there are opponents who are very aggressive. There are opponents, I have faced that, there are opponents who will try to instigate you so that you can sometimes become aggressive and which is not liked by the judges. So, it's a game of psychology. And therefore, I always say that unless you understand the basic human psychology, you will not become perfect in the art of advocacy. And in art of advocacy, you have to remember only one thing which I want to tell you with great deal of emphasis. Take a case where you are arguing a second appeal before High Court and there is a question of law, second appeal on the question of law. Now, as a lawyer, you know that there is a judgment of the Supreme Court which is against you. Now, you are first officer of the court, you are supposed to be fair to the court. You must, in the beginning, point out that, sir, this is a judgment which appears to be against the proposition which I am going to canvass. This is fairness, and then you can always say that, sir, I want to distinguish on facts. And I'll tell you one more secret. You know, we as judges, we sit on the dais, we are very lonely. Therefore, we always like those lawyers who are fair. Those lawyers who tell us the correct facts, though they are against the interests of his client. So, with great deal of emphasis, I'll say that fairness is essential part of any good advocacy. And I will tell you, the practice in the trial court, I am talking about practice in the trial court, it is really fascinating. Because every day when you cross-examine a witness, it is not only learning skills of advocacy, but you learn what is human life, especially when you are appearing in criminal matters. So, practice before the trial court, practice before any court is always a great experience to us as human beings. We come across several cases. And it is such a satisfying thing. I remember only one case I will tell you. I was sitting in a court which was hearing second appeals. So the judge said, Mr. Oak, you take this file, you have to argue a case. And that one case gave me greatest satisfaction, I want to tell you. The case was like this. there was an instructor in carpentry who was employed by a Jilla Parishad in 1970. He was appointed on permanent basis. His service was terminated after 3 years of service. He filed a civil suit challenging order of reinstatement, and in civil suit he succeeded. Order of reinstatement was passed with back wages. Then appeal went to the, so he succeeded before the civil court in 1977. The appeal in district court took 10 years, and I am talking about something which happened in I think 92, 93, it was a second appeal. So I wrote a letter to the litigant that court has appointed, because you are not represented by a lawyer, I am going to represent, please come and meet me. Now, this man whose service was terminated, he was doing some small carpentry job. He used to come all the way from a city, a small place in western Maharashtra. He used to travel by local train and sleep on VT station. And sometimes, in fact, I was giving him some money so that he can purchase tickets. It was before a brilliant judge. So appeal was by Jilla Parishad, and frankly speaking, I had made even written arguments. Those days written arguments were not accepted. I am talking about early 90s. I had prepared written arguments. The judge was so good, he had read the matter. Only because the junior lawyer was appearing, I was called upon to address the court for 5 minutes, and then that appeal was dismissed. And then this man got entire money, the back wages, the retirement benefits. And I had forgotten that case. After a few years, after about 10 years, this man came to my office. I did not recognize him. He said, sir, now I have got all the money. What I want to do is, I want to give a small present. And that small present was a fountain pen. But that case gave me great satisfaction of helping a poor and genuine litigant. So this profession is such that it gives you immense satisfaction, and therefore it is all the more necessary that you master the art of advocacy. And as Justice Kilor said, please join some seniors chamber. It's not easy to work in seniors chamber, I must tell you, because you have to follow discipline of your senior, and every senior has a different discipline. But please join some seniors chamber so that you get adequate training in art of advocacy. You may be a very brilliant student. You may be a topper in LLB examination, LLM examination. But unless you master the art of advocacy, you will never succeed in the profession. And please remember one thing, practice before our trial courts is not an inferior practice. It is as good as practice before the Supreme Court and High Court. And in some districts in Maharashtra, it is as paying as practice before the higher courts. It's the practical aspect also I am telling you. Last thing which before I close is you belong to a very privileged generation of law students. As Justice Sirpurkar said, I'll share with him, I was a student of Government Law College from 1980. There used to be only one moot court competition. We had not heard the even subject of this trial moot court competition, elocution competition. There was nothing in those days. You belong to such a privileged generation of students that you have these opportunities. And very importantly, I want to tell you something further. After you pass out from the college, now in those days, only opportunity was either to take some service or practice before the courts. But now there is excellent opportunity to join judicial service. Now, if you join judicial service at the age of say 20, now there is 3 years condition, at the age of 26 or 27, the salary and perquisites which you get today are much better than salary and perquisites which IAS and IPS officers get. Same is the case with if you directly appointed a district judge. You have other opportunities. You can work in firms. There are so many tribunals which have come into existence. There is National Green Tribunal, there are tribunals, various tribunals, not only tax tribunals, but tribunals like NCLT, tax tribunals. So there is vast scope available for you when you join the legal profession. You need not remain confined to traditional courts. And therefore you belong to a very lucky generation of law students. There are vast opportunities available to you. And amongst those opportunities, according to me, service in judiciary is very important because it will give you immense satisfaction. Because service in judiciary is such that when you sit as a judge, nobody can control you. Only your conscience and the law controls you. When you are a lawyer, your performance is constrained by several factors. You may be facing very hostile judge, you may be facing very hostile opponent. Your client may not be good enough, client may be troublesome. So this is one career which is always available. And there is one important change which I have seen during last 10 to 20 years. That important change is that I have gone to so many law schools, and especially after I admitted office, I must have gone to about 15 to 20 law schools in different parts of India as a retired judge and even earlier also. One important change which I have seen is that more than 50% of the students are girls. I may have presided over several moot court competitions. Now, only by of exception there may be cases, but otherwise in every competition the winners are girls. And that is reflected in our judiciary. Now, all high courts across India, I am saying, that at entry level, when you are appointed as a civil judge junior division, come judicial magistrate first class, now more than 50% of the judicial officers appointed are young women lawyers. So that's a great change which I have seen in the entire legal scenario. And therefore, for the girls who are sitting here, I want to tell you that a great career is ahead of you. Only thing, you have to have right approach. You have to make right choices when you pass out. And today we have more than 50% young women lawyers as judges. So slowly after 10 years or 15 years, you can find out, you will immediately realize that perhaps our judiciary at district level will be dominated by women. So this is one area where women, the young girls have a lot of scope. So please avail of those opportunities and please participate in such competitions. The reason I want to tell you one more thing, when you prepare yourself for moot court, don't use AI. Because if you start using AI, you will stop using your brain, and that's not good for your development as a future lawyer or future judge or future professional. But please do participate in such events, and I want to tell you something very important, that winning or losing in moot court competition is not material. See, I have seen these things happening in some of the national level moot court competitions, that some students, those who do not succeed, start crying because perhaps they see those reality shows and competitions on Doordarshan or media. I can tell you from my own personal example that some students who participate in moot courts and who are losers have now become very eminent and successful lawyers practicing in various courts. So even if you lose in moot court competition, that is not going to be fatal to your career. It gives you only an opportunity to start using your legal brain, to start legal thinking, and that's very important. So I think it is too late now that I will have to stop somewhere. And I again thank the organizers, the faculty members of the staff for giving me this great opportunity, because after I demitted office, this is one thing which gives me great pleasure, to be amongst the law students and to have interaction with them. So I wish a great success to this event, and I wish great success to all of you who are present here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Your Lordship. I would say that if advocacy is an art, today you have shown us that it is also a fine art, one that demands not just skills but character. We are forever grateful to you, Your Lordship, for this masterclass delivered by you with such grace and elegance. Thank you so much.
Chinmay, did you just realize one thing? The 4 out of the 6 on stage are our own alumni. 90% of the teachers present in this auditorium are our alumni. Ex-principal, former principals of this college, they are our alumni. So can we have a big round of applause for BASL? Thank you very much. I request convener of 23rd Justa Causa 2026, Dr. Praveena Khobragade Madam, to express vote of thanks.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, chief guest of today's inaugural function, and the guest speaker, Honorable Justice Abhay Oak, former Judge, Supreme Court of India. Guest of honor, Honorable Justice Anil Kilor, Administrative Judge, Bombay High Court, Nagpur Bench. Chairperson of today's function, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, Dr. Manali Kshirsagar Madam, the first Lady Vice Chancellor of 101-year-old university. Director of this esteemed institution, Dr. Ravi Shankar Moore. Our honorable guest, Justice Vikas Sirpurkar sir. Of the dais, Honorable Justice Ruhi sir, Madam Sirpurkar. Honorable judges, advocates, Dr. Vijay Khandar sir, the in-charge registrar of this university. Other official university officials, head of the university departments, colleges, teaching and non-teaching staff members, participants coming from different colleges and the institutions, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. It is my proud privilege to propose a formal vote of thanks on this momentous occasion of the 23rd edition of Justa Causa, the National Festival, Law Festival of Rashtrasant Tukadoji Maharaj, Nagpur University's Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar School of Law, as we celebrate 100 glorious years of this esteemed institution. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to our chief guest and the guest speaker, Honorable Shri Justice Abhay Oak, former Judge, Supreme Court of India, for sharing his invaluable insight on the art of advocacy and the trial advocacy. His profound knowledge, practical wisdom, and the clarity of thoughts provided us with a deeper understanding of courtroom dynamics. He said that effective advocacy can be learned by observation and the sitting in the courtrooms. He further said that the trial courts are more important in the pyramid of the judiciary, so one must focus on this aspect. His sharing of the real life experiences and the illustrative examples made the session highly engaging and impactful. We are truly honored by his presence and deeply appreciate the time and efforts he devoted to guiding and mentoring the aspiring legal professionals. His words will continue to motivate us in our academic journey and the future career. Thank you very much, sir. I also express my heartfelt thanks to our guest of honor, Honorable Justice Anil Kilor, Administrative Judge, Bombay High Court, Nagpur Bench, for his motivating and insightful address. Sir, your encouraging words and the practical insights into the legal profession, along with your emphasis on the skills of advocacy, discipline, integrity, honesty, and dedication, have left a lasting impression on all of us. Thank you very much, sir. We are honored to have Justice Vikas Sirpurkar, sir. Sir, I express my heartfelt thanks to you for your motivating address and sharing your life experiences. Thank you very much, sir. I express my sincere gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Manali Kshirsagar, the first woman Vice Chancellor of this university, for chairing today's function. Madam touched upon the use of the AI, and she also cautioned that just using the AI, that is not advisable, but the use, it should be in a very responsible and the ethical way. Madam, your gracious presence have reaffirmed the university's unwavering support for the academic excellence and the intellectual growth. Thank you so much, Madam. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the director of this esteemed institution, Dr. Ravi Shankar Moore, sir, for his constant guidance, encouragement, and the visionary leadership. Sir, your inspiring address, reflecting on the 100 years legacy of this law school and your forward-looking vision for nurturing the responsible and the socially conscious legal professionals has truly motivated us. Thank you so much, sir. I also respectfully acknowledge all the dignitaries present of the dais, honorable judges, learned advocates, university officials, head of the department, principals, faculty members, non-teaching staff, whose presence has added immense value and the dignity to this occasion. How I can miss mentioning the name of our ex-principal, Dr. Shrikant Komawar, sir. Sir, thank you sir, very much, sir, for your presence here. My special thanks go to co-convener of the Justa Causa, Madam Adhra Deshpande, and the entire team of dedicated teachers and the student coordinators and the volunteers for their tireless efforts, meticulous planning, and the commitment in organizing this grand event. I would also like to extend my sincere appreciation to Chinmayi and the Mrumnin Madam for conducting the program so smoothly and gracefully. Your excellent coordination ensured the seamless flow of today's inaugural function. Thank you so much. I also extend my gratitude to all the university department and everyone who contributed directly and indirectly in making this event a grand success. Finally, I thank all the participants from the various colleges and the institutions. Your enthusiastic participation is the true spirit of Justa Causa. I wish you all the best for the events ahead. With this, I conclude. As we celebrate a century of excellence, may we continue to uphold justice, champion equality, and carry forward the legacy of law with integrity and purpose. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Let us now rise for the national anthem.
गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्ज्वल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा।